Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, I am looking extra witchy today with all my beautiful hair. But anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful week. In case you want to know about my week, in the good news column, we had a wonderful person join our team and we're so excited. And of course, this good news definitely trumps the bad news. The bad news is that one of our trucks decided that it's now going to be a Christmas tree.
You know, all the flashing beautiful lights on the dashboard, the check engine signs on, all those beautiful parked regen signs glowing.
Super beautiful stuff. So colorful and pretty and useless, and everything's just fantastic. Anyway, today I want to talk about origins and destinations when it comes to booking loads. Ready? Let's go! So what I'm going to do in this video is really provide insights that come from my experience. So we'll start with destinations. Destinations are super important to consider when you're booking a load. After all, you have to be thinking about your next load and how you're gonna get out of that place you or your team member is delivering to. So let's go to the board so I can share my experience. All right, so I hope you can see the map clearly here. So let's get started. Number one tip, loads delivering to Arizona. So loads going to Nogales, Arizona right here will always pay higher, and I'm talking about much higher than loads delivering to Phoenix, Arizona right here. This is because Nogales, Arizona is right on the border with Mexico. As you can see, it's right on the border. It's like 7 miles away from the border. Now from Mexico, there is a ton of produce that is coming through the border, delivering to Nogales, and then getting transported all over the United States. The problem is that very often the trucks coming from Mexico do not come on time to Nogales. So you book a load to pick up somewhere right here in Nogales or Rio Rico, Arizona. You come to get loaded by your appointment time and you find out that the truck that's bringing the product you're supposed to be transporting to its final destination has not even crossed the border yet. So very often, more times than I can count, we have been in a situation where we had to wait from 10 hours to 2 days to actually get loaded out of Nogales, Arizona. Now, this also happens when you're delivering product to Nogales, Arizona. So what happens? You come with your truck from, let's say, somewhere Utah. You come into Nogales with a load of, I don't know what, onions, let's say. And you're delivering the product in Nogales and you're waiting for another truck from Mexico to come in to be able to load your product from your trailer directly into their trailer. And very often that truck from Mexico is running late or is stuck at the border because of border control. And that's how we got stuck for 34 hours last month trying to get unloaded. So be aware, if you're picking up or delivering in Nogales, Arizona, you have to consider that there is a very big possibility that you will need layover pay. So include it in your rate in your original negotiation. Okay, next. If you have a load that's delivering in the beautiful state of New Mexico, Albuquerque, or anywhere in this beautiful state, you should know that New Mexico is notorious for a lack of freight. What we usually do is when we deliver into New Mexico, we are already planning to deadhead to Phoenix, Arizona to grab our next load. So what I end up doing is asking for a rate from wherever it is that will cover not only the deadhead to pick up and deliver in New Mexico, but will also cover the 400 plus miles that it will take to deadhead from New Mexico to a place like Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, next, loads delivering to Yakima, Washington, or anywhere around this area will usually pay higher than a load delivering to somewhere like Seattle, Washington. This is because in order to get to Yakima, Washington, Pasco, Washington, Richland, Washington, or even Spokane, Washington, you need to very often go through the Snoqualmie Pass. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this correctly because I know I have trouble with pronunciation sometimes. But anyway, in the wintertime, the Snoqualmie Pass will have chain up orders. Very often it will get closed. And of course, it's extremely dangerous for semi-trucks as well as any other regular small vehicle. So this is why going to Yakima, Pasco, Spokane, Washington will always pay higher. Then there is the beautiful state of Florida. So to Florida, especially to the southern part of Florida, loads will pay much higher. And this is because Florida is not only famous for its nudist beaches, it is also famous for nude load boards.
Yeah, nothing is coming out of Florida most of the time.
And then finally, there are these northern states right here, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and so on. So these states actually, before COVID hit, going to any of these states meant that you will most likely have to deadhead out of there because there were almost no loads. We would often grab a load from Allentown, Pennsylvania to somewhere in Massachusetts or Connecticut, let's say Hartford, Connecticut. We'd go there, deliver the load, and we'd have to deadhead right back to Allentown, Pennsylvania in order to grab the next load. Now, recently, after COVID, I checked the market and there's actually a ton of freight coming out of places like Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. So the market changed. But I know that pre-COVID, there were absolutely no loads going out of these states. So this is just something to consider. Okay, so now that we've talked about destinations, let's talk about origin states. So the first thing I want to show you is that these states right here, Arizona, all of California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, and actually Utah as well, are buzzing with freight in the summertime. In Utah, it's actually a lot of ice cream loads that are going out to places like Arizona. Out of Arizona, California, Oregon, and Washington, there is a lot of produce. So grabbing a load out of one of these states in the summertime will pay very well. Then there is Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Kansas, where loads going out of these states, especially the state of Illinois right here, are great year-round. These four states have a ton of freight going out all the time. Now, I have found that the best rule of thumb to make the most amount of money out of one of these states is to take short one-day loads. For example, you go from Illinois to Indiana, from Indiana back to Illinois, from Illinois to Missouri, from Missouri to Kansas, and then back like this, and you keep going back and forth, you can make a ton of money. To give you an idea, out of Illinois, you can easily grab a load that's paying $1,900 to $2,200 for a one-day load. So it's pretty awesome. Then there is the wonderful state of Texas, which I absolutely adore, even though I've never been there. Anyway, out of the state of Texas, I have noticed for some reason that I can't explain, there are more loads coming out of Dallas, Texas than out of Houston, Texas. Or actually, I should say not more loads, but better paying freight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to my load board to show you how this all works out when you're booking loads. Okay, let's put in San Diego, California as our origin. We'll leave the destination blank, and then we go from there. So if we filter by rate, you will see that the highest rate goes to Boston, Massachusetts, although this is a team load. RM means reefer team on the DAT load board. All right, here we go. There is Lewiston, Maine, 36,000 pounds. San Diego to Lewiston, Maine pays $11,500. Now, the question is, if you go to Lewiston, Maine, will you be able to get out of there? Like I said, it's a game of averages. So in order to check whether this is a good place, if you're not familiar with it, like I'm not familiar with Maine at all, let's check if this is a good place to be in for a reefer. So what we're going to do is do a new load search. We're going to put in Lewiston, Maine, and see what is coming out. And yeah, this is a great place to be for a reefer. Even to Portland, Oregon, you can see that it's paying something like $3 per mile according to this rate, and this is before any negotiation. So yeah, Lewiston, Maine is a great place. Let's go back to the San Diego load board and let's filter by the West Coast areas. So what you will see right away, first of all, to Colorado, it's always going to be a pretty high rate, although this one is 2 picks, 2 drops. The next one is Wyoming. Now, Wyoming will very often be a higher rate than most other loads for a 1 pick, 1 drop. Why is that? Well, because if you search right now, let's search Casper, Wyoming, you will see that there is almost nothing coming out of Wyoming. So what you need to be aware of, if you're booking a load to Casper, Wyoming, you're gonna get $5,800, and you have to be aware of what load you can get potentially from Casper, Wyoming, and then you average it out. So sometimes it could be beneficial to go from somewhere like San Diego to, let's say, Hermiston, Oregon, even though it pays less, because out of Hermiston, you have a much better chance of finding a load than from Casper, Wyoming for a good price. Or a load at all if we're talking about Casper, Wyoming. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll see you all in the next video.